Hello, my Books with Miss B friends. Welcome back to another story. My name is Miss B, and I'm the creator of this YouTube channel, and I'm also the founder of Miss B Tutoring, missbtutorme.com. I'm so very excited that you're here today. If you would like to make book requests, you can now visit me on my Instagram page at Books with Miss B, and there you can make your requests for your favorite stories, and I will happily try to find those stories and read them on my channel. Before we get started though, it's very, very important that you remember, know, and understand this one very, very important thing, my little ones. It is very important that you know just how absolutely perfect you are. Just the way you are, just the way you were made. So please don't try to be anybody else. Just be you. Got it? Okay, good. All right, so let's get started. Today is a book request, and I'm so excited because I already had this book in my library at home. It is a little silly. Okay, let's be honest. It's a lot silly. It's about a dog who stinks, like really stinks, like has a problem with gas. Do you know what story I'm talking about? It is called Walter, the Farting Dog. And this is written by William Kotzwinkle and Glenn Murray, illustrated by Audrey Colman. And just in case you were curious, this very silly story has been nominated. Or I shouldn't say nominated, it won the award, the New York Times bestseller, for 1 million copies. 1 million copies. And now over 1 million copies have been sold of this book. So let's get started. It's a classic. It's a family classic. So even if you're a big human, you're gonna like this story too. At least I hope so. And at my house, we usually don't use the word fart. Toot is a much nicer way to say it, but we're gonna use the word fart in this story, and we'll have fun with it. Walter the Farting Dog. Let's get started. Betty and Billy brought Walter home from the dog pound. Nobody wanted him, said Billy. But we love him, said Betty. Well, he smells awful, said their mother. I think you better give him a bath. Poor Walter. Mother walked in and said, he still smells awful. And that's when they got the first clue, the telltale bubbles in the water. He's probably just a little nervous, said Mother hopefully. His stomach must be upset. But Walter's stomach wasn't upset. Walter's stomach was fine. He felt perfectly normal. He just farted a lot. He did it when he bathed. He did it when he played with Betty and Billy. He did it when he walked around the house. He did it in the dining room. He did it in the kitchen. And he did it in his sleep. So gassy. That dog farts morning, noon, and night, said Father. He can't help it, Daddy, said Betty and Billy. They didn't mind Walter's farts. See? So what if it farts? Billy said to Betty when they were alone in their room with Walter. Betty agreed. Walter agreed too. He sat there looking innocently around, farting. Take him to the vet, said Father. Farting, said the vet, or rectal flatulence, as we say in the medical profession, and prescribed a change in diet. What does it mean to get a change in diet? Look, he's tooting right in his face. To change your food, right? Maybe it's something he's eating. They gave Walter every kind of dog food. He farted. They tried him on cat food. They gave him hot dogs, hamburgers, and lettuce and tomato sandwiches. They gave him fried chicken. They gave him rabbit food. They made him a vegetarian. No matter what the dog eats, he turns it into farts, roared Father. Walter got the blame for everybody else's farts, too. If Uncle Irv let one slip, he just went and stood near Walter. Then all he had to say was, Walter! And everyone would look The poor Walter. He has to go back to the pound, said Father. No, Daddy, please, begged Betty and Billy. Don't send Walter away. He goes tomorrow, said Father. They pleaded. Walter farted. It was all over. That night, Betty and Billy cried in their beds, and Walter looked at them unhappily. Oh, Walter, said Betty, you've got to stop farting, because Father is going to send you back to the pound tomorrow, said Billy. Walter knew how serious the situation was. He'd never seen Betty and Billy again. He'd never see them again. He resolved to hold in his farts forever. When Betty and Billy fell asleep, he walked down to the kitchen to see if there was anything around to eat. He managed to open the cupboard door with his nose and found the 25-pound bag of low-fart dog biscuits the vet had prescribed for him, which he had made him fart even more. And even though he knew they made him fart more, he couldn't resist. He ate the entire bag. Very tasty, said Walter to himself. Look, it's the fart-free biscuits. And then he went and lay down on the sofa, and a gigantic gas bubble began to build inside him. This is going to be trouble, he said to himself nervously. He was afraid of what might happen if he let it go. He thought maybe the whole house would explode. So he kept it in. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was torture. But he had resolved never to fart again. His future depended on it. As he lay there with his tail wrapped tightly between his legs, he heard a noise at the window. Poor Walter. The cat's laying on him. He watched it slowly open. A pair of burglars came through. They dropped silently into the kitchen. Watch out for the dog, said one of the burglars. He won't bite, said the other. He's a wimp. Walter might have bitten them, except he was so filled with gas he couldn't move. They tied a rag around his snout so he couldn't bark. Okay, whispered the first burglar. Let's clear the place out. They took everything they could get their hands on, and Walter wanted to stop them, but he was having unbearable gas pains. Oh, he rolled on his back and waved his paws in the air. He gnashed his teeth. We've got it all, said the second burglar. Let's go. Are you making a prediction of what's going to happen? You're right. That's when Walter let it fly. It was the worst fart of his life. It made a tremendous noise and shot him across the room. A hideous cloud filled the air. The burglars clutched their throats, unable to breathe. With tears in their eyes, they raced for the window. They tried to grab their bag with all the valuables in it, but their arms were too weak. Let's get out of here! They jumped out the window and ran up the block, choking and gasping for air. Still blinded by Walter's attack, they stepped into the headlights of an approaching police car. Hold it right there, said the policeman. When Father and Mother came in the next morning, they found the open window, and they saw the bag with their valuables in it, and Walter was sitting beside it. He still had the rag tied around his snout. You'd have to say he looked heroic. He saved the silverware, cried Mother. He saved the VCR, said Father. Good dog, Walter. You're our dog, even if you do fart all the time. And so, the family learned to live with Walter, the hero dog. And that's the end of our tale. Ooh, he's tooting. What's he tooting into? Silly. Walter's Wonder Park, 100% natural gas powered. He made a Wonder Park with his gas. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope it was a gas. If you liked it, you can press the like button and subscribe below to get more Books with Miss B stories every single week. And to my little special magical human who made this book request, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you all like crazy, and I will see you next time. Bye! Mwah! Hi, my Books with Miss B friends. I have something very important I want you all to know.
Please, always remember this.
Remember that it is always
very, very important to love who you are.
and don't try to be anybody else
But who you are. Because, in case you didn't know, I'm going to tell you.
are without a doubt in my mind